You can still just park it there, and the cool part is you just flip around.
All right, so hanging out with my buddy Adam here. We got a special project today for you guys. Adam, what are we gonna be doing?
We're gonna be taking one of these free-wing 64mm EDFs, which is already a pretty cool airplane. We're making it cooler, converting it to a twin pusher, so it'll do all sorts of 3D aerobatics.
So thrust vectoring, kind of. Adam has actually done this before, and he's done a lot of other projects you guys might remember. Back in the day, Flight Fest West, we did a video with him on your Lego plane.
Lego plane.
Yes! Yeah!
Our Lego plane video is like still one of my favorite memories was that day.
Dude, and you were flying it without the differential.
Yeah,
the differential was all messed up. You have since built a Lego helicopter. We go all the way back to, I think Neat Fair was the first time I ever crossed paths with you back in
big
2014 with your big Eurofighter. Yeah. Check out Adam's channel if you guys haven't yet. We'll put links below to all that because he's always doing really cool projects, and not only that, but he's sharing them with you guys. So definitely check them out. We're gonna get this thing out of the box and we're gonna get to work. All right, so Adam, I can't help but notice what you brought here is a perfect paper replica of the wing.
I was packing up to leave for this trip. I had no drawings or anything of how I made the cutouts on mine at home, so I just took the wing over to the photocopier and made a full-size printout. So that we have a nice little plan here for where to make the motor cutouts.
So yeah, as you guys can see, we're gonna be adding not one motor, but two motors on each side. And the cool thing about the motors right there is they blast the airflow right over the control surfaces. So that's what's gonna allow us to do all these crazy aerobatics. All right guys, before we get hacking on that F-22, I wanted to take this time to thank our sponsor for this video, and that's Skillshare. If you guys aren't familiar with Skillshare, Skillshare is an online learning community with over 25,000 different online courses where you can learn about anything from graphic design, illustration, photography. Some of my personal favorite courses that I've taken in the past that come to mind is my boy Aaron Draplin. He's one of my biggest inspirations in terms of graphic design, and he has a whole course on logo design. And if a lot of you guys have built our speed build kits, you've probably seen a lot of my logos that I've made, and those logos are a direct result of Skillshare. But it's not just graphic design, it's also video work. It's all kinds of different things, even down to business courses, which is pretty cool. Best part about Skillshare is you can actually get it really affordably. An annual subscription works out to being less than $10 a month. You can cancel your Netflix, get Skillshare, and start learning, start growing, start improving your life, improving your career. On top of that, first 500 of you subscribers out there to check out our link below, you can actually get 2 months of Skillshare for free. You can learn for free. Click the link below, make sure you do it. Once again, guys, it's because of sponsors like Skillshare that we're able to provide content like this for you guys every single week. So thank you, Skillshare. Be sure to check out the link below, and let's go see what Adam's doing. He's hacking up this plane. Let's go check it out.
This is always the hardest cut. It has to be square. So since I'm cutting out all this material here, there'll only be this little tiny piece of foam holding the wing together. So I'm gonna add in a little piece of carbon.
Oh, that's where you add the carbon, I got you.
So I'll just make a slit here, right along the leading edge mold line, and then just press a little 3mm strip in. I'll make up for all the foam that we're taking away there. So now we can make the other cuts, and then I don't have to worry about the wing snapping in half on it. I came up with that after I did the first wing, and it snapped in half. That's how most of these things usually go. It's kind of design as you go.
Wings cut out with the spot there. He also reinforced the edge with the carbon fiber. Not bad work, Adam. I mean,
yeah, pretty straight cut.
Pretty straight. Straightness is key, especially on the side that you're mounting the motor on. You want it to be as straight as possible so you don't get any weird thrust lines.
So next step is we're gonna fit the motors. So I made up these little motor mounts that you just bolt the mini quad motors onto, and we'll get those aligned into the wing. We'll put the prop on the motor so we can put the prop sideways and make sure that everything is square. So if we have to kind of adjust the motor mount, a little bit of a glue shim to make sure that we don't have any roll we don't want.
Pretty crazy. Like, we've been building, I think now for maybe 15-20 minutes, maybe a half hour at the most, and we're already getting to the point where we're mounting motors. I mean, just a $100 jet and a little bit of time, and you're gonna have a crazy flying 3D jet. Pretty exciting. Let's get back to work.
So we'll use these pieces to fill back in around the motors so that you just have the prop slot. You can do some like zigzags on the leading edge of the cutout if you want to make it a little bit quieter. You'll see it's pretty loud with the props cutting through the slot. We'll keep those. This will go on the trash pile. So since you still have the mounting tabs, like this still plenty strong. You're going right in front of the spar. You're just cutting out a little bit of foam that doesn't have much structure to it. And then that's right about on the center of gravity, so that the fan that you're taking out is right on the CG, so you want to make sure that the motors you put back on aren't, you know, really forward or aft. So stock, you run like a 4-cell 2200 milliamp hour pack, and then I've been flying on a 4-cell like 800 to 1000, and they fly about the same time, which shows you how much more efficient props are.
Yeah.
Hey, it fits. So you see there's just enough room in here that we clear the fuselage and we clear the wing cutout. I'm gonna glue it on. All right, so the important part on this bit is once you get the motor sideways to check that it's square with the wing. That one actually did pretty good. But if it wasn't square with the wing, you could tack it in place and then just put a little fillet of glue underneath the high side to correct any wobble you got. But you want to make sure that that prop is perpendicular to the wing. Otherwise, you'll get a roll that you don't want. Everything's in the right spot, so I still have clearance with the fuselage there. Use the tail as a straight edge. So you don't want to clip the fuselage. You also don't want to clip the other side of the wing. So we're cutting a little close there, but should be good. You can use more or less any brand, any thickness of CA on EPO or EPP. Don't use thin unless you really want it to get in there. For most like structural bonds, I'll use medium, and I'll just put a couple dabs on, hit it with the accelerator, and then I'll go back and fillet it. You don't want a ton of extra glue on there in case you didn't glue it in right, you need to snap it off and go back. That looks good.
So a lot of you guys probably noticed the motor on there probably looks familiar to some of you. Today we're using our FT radial motor, specifically our 2205 2300 kV. And it's basically your standard mini quad motor. It's going on a 5-inch prop. It's gonna run perfectly off of 3S. In our case, we're gonna be using 4S. And it's gonna give plenty of power to do some amazing aerobatics with this. So as per usual, I'm super excited about using the FT radial in a new way that we haven't done before and see how it works. Plus it just kind of looks good.
It does look nice, yeah. So now we're gonna do open heart surgery on the plane. And take out the stock ducted fan.
Oh wow, that was easy.
That was easy, yeah. It's actually this foam piece just clamps it in place, and there's a little lip
so it's not even glued or anything.
It's not even glued or anything.
Wow, that just like blew my mind. I was like expecting cutting and hacking. That's hilarious.
And then you just fish out the rest. But you can see here, this is how much area you've got to move air with the fan, and just one of the props is already much bigger than that. So thrust goes by the amount of air you're moving. It goes by kind of the mass times the velocity, but power goes by the square of that velocity. The faster you move the air, it takes exponentially more energy. So the most efficient thing to do is take a lot of air, so like a really large rotor, and move it a little bit. And what ducted fans are doing is taking a little bit of air and moving a lot.
So that's why they have less thrust at lower speeds, basically.
Yep.
And then they can get up to a high speed, but it just doesn't happen as fast.
Yeah, so you see there's really high pitch on the blades there, and so the thrust will drop off less at high speed than on a flatter prop like this. And so then here we're just gonna open up a little bit of extra room in there to route the motor controllers in. So do some more foam surgery. That'll give us a nice channel to run the motor wires in through. Comes out one way. There we go.
So basically you just cut
the splitter out so that you can run the motor wires and the motor controllers up through. All right, so I think we're ready to put it back together. I always keep all the foam parts until the end of a project, just in case.
Just in case, yeah. Now you've done similar projects to this one in the past with different jets.
Yeah.
What's your criteria for doing like kind of like a thrust vectoring jet project like this, prop driven? Because what was the other one you had at Flight Fest West? It actually had the props on the actual control surfaces.
That was one of those Hobby King SU-27s. And then I recently drew up my own little flat foam B2. The RC X-Wing I made has the same motor setup. So you'll see here, going straight,
turn around in a circle. Going straight, turn around in a circle.
And I actually just finished one of the Twisted Hobbies yaks as a twin. Yeah, with differentials, so you can do crazy yaw maneuvers, and then the latest releases of BL Heli and Simon K firmware support reversing. So on the downlines, you can run the motors backwards and back the plane up.
That's
really pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you've been flying EDFs for a while and you just want to try to mix it up a little bit, you know, try to do some of the stuff you see with like the guys with the vector thrust turbines, but you don't want to spend, you know, many thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
This lets you get a taste of like, you know, 3D aerobatics with a jet, but it's pretty approachable for most sport flyers.
Yeah,
So,
and affordable too.
Yeah. So if you're like confident with something that, you know, is moderately aerobatic, this will be fine.
All right, so the build's complete. Pretty crazy. Like it took less than an hour, like not even 45 minutes. Adam is extremely efficient, but also it's a pretty easy build. I could definitely get used to having Adam around the shop. He's extremely talented. So that means there's only one thing left to do. We're gonna get her bound up. We are going to make sure all the control surfaces and the differential is all working in the proper way. Make sure we didn't miss any glue or any screws on anything. We're gonna go out and fly it. Let's go. All right, so it has been done, and I have to say that was not only a very cool project, but extremely efficient. You take something that exists like this and just a little bit of components, which I know a lot of you guys probably have laying around, and a little bit of time, and you have something which is seemingly looks like it's going to be a completely different experience from the original
different
product.
plane.
Do you have any rituals, Adam, on your Maiden flights when you have a project like this?
I usually make sure to take at least one picture of the plane before I fly it, but I think you guys already got that covered.
Yeah, we got plenty of frames here. So what do you say? Want me to give you a launch?
Yeah, let's see. Up is up, down is down, right, left.
Check out your crap. Good to go. So we got a little bit of a breeze here, maybe 10-mile-an-hour wind. And the thing is so lightweight now that even just with the airflow from the wind, I could feel it wanting to lift off. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely, it's a fair bit lighter than stock, and then you got probably around 2-to-1 thrust to weight. So it's got no problems in wind like this.
Wow, look at that, dude. It's just floating around, it looks like. We have quite a bit of wind today. You can probably hear it.
You always gotta watch out for those poles.
Yeah, the poles of death, they'll get you. They sneak up on you.
But yeah, so it also, you can still fly it like a normal jet too. It's a little louder than stock.
Yeah.
But,
wow, yeah, so that's even going into the wind, you still have some serious, pretty serious speed for a jet that size.
And then you can just tap on the brakes.
That was sick. So that's probably the most impressive thing to me is just the speed envelope.
Yeah, you get, when you go light, and then when you go with the differential thrust and the blown control surfaces, you don't really need any airspeed to have control.
Yeah, because
so
it's blowing it right over the control surface.
You can really tighten up how close in you fly.
Very cool, dude. Oh, dang. So, I think that I could definitely have a lot of fun with a jet like this, but I don't think I could fly it like you're flying it right now. How long have you been flying? How long have you been in the hobby?
I started flying when I was probably 7 or 8, so you know, got close to 30 years of stick time now.
Okay.
And I've been building a lot since college. So I try to do one project every month or so. Sometimes it's every couple months, but sometimes they're quick builds like this, and then sometimes they're longer projects. Like the Lego plane took probably 6 months from start to finish.
Yeah, that was a big one. Look at that. I don't think that's standard procedure for a typical F-22.
Let's see if we can get it in real low.
Not only do we have wind, but we also have
a lot of turbulence.
A lot of rotor. Yeah, we have a dirt pile in our building here.
You can still just park it there, and the cool part is you just flip around. Oh!
He saved it! He saved it!
Still just park it there. The cool part is you just flip around. Oh! You just flip around.
You're still in one piece. The F-22 has some battle damage. I see a little piece of foam.
There's a little piece hanging
off your front duct.
Outmaneuvered the cameraman.
He wasn't ready for that snap around. Very nice. She still flies great.
Yeah.
Actually, probably would make a pretty good combat plane too.
Yeah. Oh, you got the props are protected.
Yeah,
so.
and you have that carbon in the wingtip, so it's not gonna break through if you hit somebody.
I'll see if I can set it in. Do one more upside down pass.
Look at that, that's so cool.
Now when there's no wind, I like to go from inverted around to upright, but no, I think that'll have to wait.
Look at that, dude, that's so cool. Perfect, VTOL F-22, man. So cool, what a cool, that's such a gratifying project for such a little amount of time.
Yeah, just a couple
and
hours.
effort, and common parts and materials that you can typically find. Well, man, I want to thank you.
Yeah,
As always fun hanging out. I always like keeping up with him, so make sure if you haven't, check out his Instagram and his YouTube. We'll put links below. He's always up to something. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. Also hit that notification bell. It's gonna notify you every time we come out with new content, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Peace out.